Just go with a little bit too much. There we go. Got you guys there. Got you all over here, and you're just looking fantastic. This will be a literally every single step painting, a painting we've never done before for all you naysayers that see we paint the same thing over and over and over again. Here we go. Let's paint a big old chunk, big old black section of our canvas. Let me tell you how I got to this part of the painting so you can get to this part of your painting, okay? Took my Liquitex black gesso, which is an acrylic black gesso, which is watery acrylic paint, right? We covered our entire canvas with the black gesso paint and then let it dry, this portion of the canvas anyway. Then when it came time to paint this painting, the canvas was all dry, and now we're getting it wet with our liquid clear or linseed oil. You can either use Bob Ross liquid clear or Grumbacher's liquid clear, or your linseed oil from your regular old art store works just perfectly fine. All we're doing is massaging in that linseed oil or that Bob Ross or Grumbacher's liquid clear into the black section of the canvas, okay? Allowing the canvas to get nice and wet and slick. You can even see the reflection over here. See how wet it is? Ooh, you can see a dry spot right there. Thank you, reflection. Get rid of my dry spot over here. So, you want it nice and evenly spread across the entire thing. Then we're going to take some of our paper towels and we're going to wipe off the excess paint, okay? So, a little bit of force it takes to wipe off all this excess. And even though we've wiped it off, it will still be shiny and slick. You can even see it on the tips of the gloves out there. Now, we're not going to put any undercolor on our black portion of our canvas at all, okay? None at all, so don't even worry about it. We're gonna come in here with our liquid white, pop into a little bit of the liquid white. We don't need too much on the brush, right? Because we don't have a whole big area to cover up here. Drop a little bit over here, a little bit over there, kind of spread it down and around, and then again, massage it. Looks like I got a bit of my paint from above from that last painting that we did earlier in class today. But check this out, even though we just got all that darkness up there, because the liquid white will help it get brighter and brighter and brighter, we can literally massage it until it goes away, completely gone. Right now, of course, you're going to have some of your paint kind of crisscross into your black gesso area, which is okay, right? But the more that you allow to cover that black gesso area, the more it's going to be hard to see, right? So if you don't put a lot of it on here, that's going to be better. And then we're going to go over it with our blue sky color anyway, right? Very, very cool. The more you go over it, the more it makes it look further and distant, right? So we don't want to do that. Everything in this scene is very, very, very close to us, you guys. Very close, okay? So without washing the brush, without doing anything, I'm going to go right into my ultramarine blue or your phthalo blue, doesn't matter. Either which one. I'm going to drop it on this one side and let it blend down. And it's going to crisscross over our mountain too, which is why we don't put too much liquid white to start, because we're going to be dragging the color across there as well. Right? You don't really need to mix or blend it out too much at this point, because we're going to drop another color right on top of it. So let's take our blue and put it onto this side. Ooh, that's a gorgeous color. I love that color, guys. It's such a pretty blue sky color. It's not overly like royal blue. It's got a little bit of darkness to it. It's really nice. We're gonna cover the edges. Now that we've got our ultramarine blue, you can see it's mixing in with that liquid white. Remember, the canvas is wet. See that? Nice wet canvas, which means that our paints will slide and blend more easily across that wet surface versus a dry surface. If we're on a dry canvas, oh boy, that's really gonna hurt. That really looks like a piece of light. Holy cow. Holy cow, dude. I kind of want to keep that, but it doesn't really match for this scene, so let's take it out. Oh, it's gone forever now, out there in the day. Now we'll come over here, take a little bit of our black, not a whole lot. Oh, that's way too much, John. Dab it off on paper towel. Now there's less. Now let's come up here. Yeah, now that black section won't overly grow too far. We have to put it up there. It has to be different, right? We don't just want to have the same color blue sky all the way across. At least I don't. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like that. I don't like to look at, I don't like it. It's got to be a little different, right? So we'll dab off our brush on a paper towel. Still a fair amount of paint up there, but there's less. It's not depositing the paint anymore. If yours is still depositing the paint, then stop with the mixing, right? And actually go back and wash it right into the old can, beat the bejesus out of it. Just boom, right into the bucket, dab it off on paper towel. That's all we're doing. You can even see it if you're watching over on the Book of Faces. They've got a good angle over to the table over here, right? So all we're gonna do, come back with that clean, dry brush, starting our dry area out there. Make sure the brush is very, very dry. Otherwise, it'll really make your sky wet and slick. We don't need that necessarily right here, right? Now, the more that we crisscross on this paint, the more it's going to intermix in with each other. And remember, you guys know where to go to get this one. I also have a very similar one that I taught during class today for much less than the one that's here. It's right below this one on the homepage. Look at that. The dark sky color, the more we push on it, the more it's dragging it over to this side, right? And then we get to determine how much we want. We want to have a little bit more. Yeah. That's a lot of it more, but that's okay. We can blend it out. We can blend it, my friends. The more of that we get up here in our sky, come back with a clean brush, start in the light area first, blend it outwards, letting it all mix in with that blue, right? Streaking it, and go downward, getting lighter and lighter and lighter as it gets down that way. Heavier paint up here, meaning we have to push harder on it in order to let it blend its way out and down. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? Very cool. Okay, now let's get out here with a little touch of our titanium white onto our fan brush. And by little touch, I mean an enormous amount of white paint. Enough to hold the bristles together, right? A huge amount of paint. We're gonna come across, this like, bang, right there. Dumping on an intense, just an intense amount of color. Because there's already black and blue on our canvas, if we don't pop enough white up here, then it will blend away and be gone forever. Right? If we leave another little space over here, pop, just whatever, right? And you're probably looking at it like, why am I still watching this guy if that's how he's gonna paint the clouds, right? But we don't have 2.5 million followers for no reason. We come up here, we start mixing it down, pushing harder on the bottom. Lighter on. Look at the difference already, you guys. If I can keep my big old hand out of the way. Look at the difference. Now, push hard on this guy to push him back. Drag this guy towards him, and then down and around in a big old crazy old circle. Boom! Got yourself another little puff of a cloud out there, right? They don't always have to be these crazy bright things. They don't all have to connect. They don't all have to do whatever, right? There is no have to. Not in the Paint with Josh world, there isn't. Nothing has to do much. Very cool, guys. Now, we're gonna mix up a big old chunk of our dark color paint. I'm probably gonna have to get more of it out of my paint box, but for right now, this should be okay. I'm gonna take our blue, black, and crimson, throw it back here, and we're gonna throw a little touch. I need to get more paint. I have no paint out. There's no paint because I cleaned up a whole big area after my class today. My paint was so thick on the palette, like it was literally that chunky on my palette, which should have been flat, right? So I had to go and clean it. Just a touch. Just a touch. So this might as well go through the colors we're gonna use today. We have our sap green, our Van Dyke brown, our dark sienna brown, which is the lighter color of the two browns, our yellow ochre, maybe a touch of our cadmium yellow as well, and then blue, black, and crimson and white like always. All the time, might as well get our cad yellow out. It's the brightest of all the yellows that we use anyway. And we may even use some of the Master's Touch gold paint by the time we get down to the front. So one more color we need is our yellow ochre color, which looks like, I can't find it. There. Yellow ochre, just like that. It's kind of an orangey brownish yellow, which really helps for our highlights on our brown mountains and stuff like that. It's a really nice color, you guys. Let me get some of this out of the tube. Onto the old palette right there. Get out of your way again. So while I'm getting all these paints out, you guys just check in. Tell me where you're watching from. Just where are you from out there in the night? Oh, it's looking so good already. Everybody that's watching over on the tube, make sure you give me a thumbs up. That's all we need over there. We'll come out here with our plaque mix again. Go into, I didn't even get the other brown out. I'm so distracted. Where is my other brown color? Always seems to fall down to the very bottom of the box whenever I need it. There. There. Now that we've got a bit of our Van Dyke brown, which is the darker brown, And then our dark sienna brown, which is the lighter brown. Don't ask why they made them different. You know, why call the dark one and have it be lighter? It doesn't make any sense to me, guys. But that's just me, right? It's just old Josh. I could have done all this before the video, I guess. But who wants that? Have you ever watched a video when Josh was actually ready and like ready to go when the video started? Never. So why should we change now, right? Why change it up now? Is anyone ever really ready? Let's see. Problem is, I've got way too many tubes of paint in the box. And then you can never find the one that you need, right? Very cool. So, okay, now we got all of our colors. Let's mix in our little bit of our 2 brown colors into our plaque mix, making Paint with Josh Grack, right? It's a brown, blackish color, just like that. Boom, boom, boom. Real deep, real dark, real crazy like, okay? Now, even if you're not watching during the live, you're watching it later on in the future, tell me where you're from. Just where are you watching from out there in the world? I'm gonna take a little bit of this dark color, gonna spread it down, scoop it up like that. Come out here, and man, this mountain is big. Oh, he's big and crazy. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. He's a monster. All right, all we're gonna do is scrape up some of that paint, deposit it down in the other places, only focusing on what we want our top edge of our little mountain guy to look like. And the only reason we did the black gesso back here is because it makes it easier. You don't have to have as much paint, right? In order to make it dark, we don't have to add so much dark paint, which is gonna be easier for you to highlight it, easy for you to brush it out, and everything else becomes easier for you. I'm thinking about you guys all the time, okay? A little bit more, scrape it up, pull it down, down, down. I don't even imagine we would need that much more of our paint, right? Now, we're gonna come out here with our big old 2-inch brush. Let's grab this guy and just pull it vertically like just a little cliff in the background. Remember, there's no paint underneath this canvas. There's no undercolor down there, okay? So, whatever you pull down, that's gonna be the color. Let's take this guy up here, turn our brush like that, and go right through there. You can see a bit of brightness. That's from the clouds and my sky being in the brush as well. Maybe we take this guy and we go off the back side, pulling it down, pulling it down, pulling it down. What about the front edge? He's very steep. He's a sheer cliff out there in the night. Come up to its edge, right, from wherever we pulled down back here. That's where we want to pull down the rest. Boom, boom, boom. Now, if it starts getting too dark because you had, too bright because you had too much brightness on your brush, right? Too much liquid white. You can always go back in with a bit of that darker color. And then again, remember, we're not going to see this whole thing. No one's out there going to be paying attention to the whole mountain, except for us, okay? Pull it a little bit further down over here, a little bit darker paint. Right, feeding that ridge, I think it's way down here. Who knows? We'll decide. Now remember, if you like this one, I've got a very similar one available on the store right now for you. Let's come up here a little bit more dark paint, because now that light color is bugging me, since this is the shadow side. It should be darker anyway. Now we need to mix up a bit of blue and white. No, that's for a winter scene. Let's go dark brown. We're gonna go brownie over here. Probably, again, maybe about 40% of the 2 browns, 60% of my yellow ochre, so it's a big old pile, okay? And what we're gonna do on this guy is pop up our highlights first, which we rarely ever do, okay? So we came off here, scooped up a big old amount, connected it on, and just let it flow down, right? How far is it gonna go? How many little there, look at that. How many little breaky areas can you get on your little mountain side? Remember, it is very sheer and very steep. And we don't need to have so much covering the entire thing, right? Oh my goodness. It's like the sun is just waking up, coming over the mountaintops in the distance and just lighting up this rock. Oh, he's pretty. He is pretty. Came over here. More horizontal strokes, right? Less vertically down, more horizontally will help your mountain start looking like it's supposed to. You can even pop up a couple little projections here and there, right? A little bit. Got a little bit taller on one side, maybe got a little bit taller right in there, right? Just however you can get it to deposit, just so it's not a straight, perfect line, okay? Let's go up, mess that guy up a little bit, change it down over here, take it off the other direction, right? It's all one big, enormous crazy mountain out there that we get to decide what it looks like, how many little crevices, how many little things. And even though we're going all bright shadow or all bright highlights on our one edge over here, we're leaving those little gaps, those little differences, that original mountain color down there, right? You gotta leave it in there, guys. If you don't leave it, then you're not going to, it's gonna be too caked on, right? Now, let's take a little touch of blue into this guy. A little bit of our two browns over here, just a touch. A little bit. Mix them up down there. Make it a lot darker of a color, right? We don't need it to be, we can even sneak a little bit of that plaque mix, make it dark. We don't want it to be too dark to where it just looks like this color. We gotta have a little bit of that brighter darkness in there. And come up, sneak down, and start throwing on these little things. Then we can come up and fix that straight line here in a minute. Don't try to highlight this back peak with any brightness. It's all dark shadows back here. We don't even barely need to do anything, put anything on except to match the texture, right? If we didn't have anything back here and we just had that dark color, our texture wouldn't match the front of the mountain. And watch, if you don't like a place, you got that bit that came out too far, take them out. Go right over them with those shadowy areas. You can do it, guys. You can do whatever you want. You can do more than you think. That's the cool part, right? Now, what if we got up here and just popped in just a couple little irregularities in that mountaintop, right? Maybe we wanted this whole thing catching light on the top like that. Each time you do it, it's another chance for you to do it differently, right? Now, let's take all this stuff and remember, there's no undercolor down here for stuff to blend in with anymore, right? There's nothing there. So we have to be very gentle, like just grazing along it this way, right? We're not out here brushing it because that would smear the paint too much because we'd use too much pressure. If we're down here and we're trying not to get the backs of our fingers dirty, right? So we can't push too hard and we're just grazing across it. You can go up as tall as you want, but don't push on it so hard that you take away those dark bits. We're not trying to push or move this paint at all, okay? Now, let's get down here, and instead of messing it up, let's just tap it in just a little bit down here around the base, just where I'm gonna have my grass, just so it's lighter in the paint. If there's too much heavy paint down there, then it's just gonna mess everything up for us, right? Take this guy, tap it off towards the back. Again, there's no other undercolors under the painting. It's just a pure black canvas, okay? So you gotta be careful that you don't let it get too bright. Now let's switch over to the Paint with Josh 1-inch brush, the most perfect brush you'll ever find for making grass, in my opinion anyway. I'm gonna take my green, take my other bit of yellow over here, my brightest yellow, and use these together to make this gorgeous green color, right? Down there like that, just a beautiful little bit of green. Now, what if we came out here and we started tapping down, and then right underneath, and then right underneath. So we're moving further to the right, we're starting further to the right, and then getting under our last little guy back there, okay? Load up on our paint again, or flip your brush over, depends on how much paint you put on the thing. A little bit taller, a little bit taller, a little bit taller. How far do you want this grass to run down, right? What do you feel like it should do? Because it's all up to you guys every time. You want it to be bigger? Let it come down this way. Have more bit of grass underneath, right? Bringing our whole line down that way too. The whole thing's got to come down, right? We can determine what we want it to look like, but before we get too far, okay, let's just mix up here a little bit. We're gonna use a little bit of our plaque mix, all right? That guy down there, a lot of bit of green. So it's probably like 60% green, 40% plaque mix, right? There, that's a nice dark color. And we're gonna come up here, we're gonna grab on all that paint, literally try to get it all up into here, and then pop it out against our brush. Full pressure, pushing against the canvas to allow it to stick, okay? Maybe we do one little more guy back there. Right, now, if you come underneath that guy, it's not only going to help add some shadowing to our grass, but help change the color on its own. Right, we don't need too much yellow. Bring it over here into the green grassery. Right, tap it in, and you can come up underneath this guy and get rid of those places that we don't want to see. So we can cut right through that darkness, and that dark stuff is going to help our grass pick up a little bit of shadowing on the way, right? So not everything is going to be pure, the same green all throughout. That looks really cool, you guys. Now notice our little downward angle, right? That means we can't come way down here and then come out into the painting, no. Right? If anything, we're tapping it back. Maybe we got a little hill that lives back there or whatever, and it's tapping down, tapping down, tapping down, and then stopping, right? To continue that little angle on the way down. Now we can do whatever we want over here, but as long as we have a little bit of space, we're down here, onto the grass, it's pretty level down there. It's not this extreme thing, right? But it is a downward angle like that. Then we can go back, wash off our bushy brush, because we're gonna need that bushy brush to do some highlighting. All right, we're gonna be using this bushy brush for a lot of things in this painting, you guys. A lot of items require the Paint with Josh round brush. Look at that for a painting already, guys. That's cool. Now let's take a little touch of our liquid white, just a little bit. We don't need too much. Remember, we want these guys in the background be further away, less noticeable, right? We're gonna tap into our green just on the top half of our brush. A little bit of our yellow back there, just a little bit. We don't wanna have too much of it. Too much of anything is gonna be bad. And then very light amount of pressure. Popping on a couple little bits. Just like that, little things, far away, right? They don't need to have every detail being so far away. Now, we're gonna wash off that bushy brush again, because I decided I'm gonna plan on using it again to make our next little guy. We're gonna have like a crimson-y, pinky little tree or bush or something out there, okay? Now, in order to do that, we're gonna go with the small amount of our plaque mix that we have left. We don't need a whole lot of the dark shadow bit, right? We came up into here, and we had this little guy, bang, right there, wherever, right? A little bit of darkness. Whatever it is, come back underneath, clean up his grass. Clean up your grass, man. Down here, put your crabgrass over there in your neighborhood. All right, over there, over here. Come and tap in little bits of our yellow. Create a brighter area to look at and focus on. But not every place can have that same bit of brightness. So you get to decide where it is, where you're looking, what do you want to see. Maybe it's out here too. Not everywhere, right? Not every place gets to be the same. Remember that, it has to be different. Okay, now let's go back. Let's see if we can get away with this guy. Let's see if we can get away with it, right? We're gonna use, we had the dark color on the top half, so now we're gonna use the bottom half of the brush. Go over here into our crimson color, tap onto that guy, then up in here into our yellow. Oh, that's gonna be a gorgeous little thing. We start tapping on these little guys. Wherever you want him to be. Oh, he's a firecracker, as Bob would say. That's gorgeous. If you ask me, I would tell you that's a pretty looking thing right there. Now I'm gonna grab a little liner brush, because we need to pop in just a couple little sticks and twigs in there. So I'm gonna take my odorless mineral spirits, which is my brush cleaner, and I'm gonna take my white, not a whole lot of it, don't need a whole lot. Bang, right, wiggle it down like that, start throwing in a couple little sticks, twigs, maybe live inside that guy, holding up some of those flowers, doing whatever. If one gets too big, it's okay. It's over all that darkness, tap it down, right? Get rid of it. Anything you want back in here, a couple little bits. Nothing too crazy though, you don't want to add too many. Okay, now, let's throw in some rocks, you guys. I want to have something down here around the base of the river. It's not just going to be water against the grass. So let's take all the brown and all the black that we had mixed up already and make some more. Right? So a little crimson, little black, little blue, both of our two brown colors. Plop them down, and remember, you guys can get this painting if you go over. It's the very first thing on the home page. You guys know where to go. You know what my site would be. It's my name, plus the 3 letters at the end, a little period in the middle. You guys got it. Okay, let's take our dark color like that. Flip it around like this. Foliage, you guys. Man, this one's looking fabulous. Just fantastic. We also have number 2057, which is the one that we did right before this, that I'm looking at as a reference while we paint this one. That's available for much less. Okay, let's get down here and let's start throwing in some of this dark color. All right, maybe back here, we got a little bit, and we're just gonna scrape it in sideways, just like we do with our seascapes and stuff. Just so we have a little bit of land kind of underneath our grass, right? A little bit of dark patch under there. You can even go back, if you had any amount of your light color, and just try to brighten, it's a big old bit of skin right there. Just try to brighten that guy up with any amount of your light, right? He doesn't need to be in focus. He's in the background. He's going to be taken out by this giant tree over here. Anyway, so it's only really there as some background bit of color of our dirt before it meets the water, okay? Now we're going to come in here with that darkness again. And let's start making a bigger thing, like a little hump out there. Again, continuing along that same downward line. Doesn't have to be perfect, right? Pop up another guy over here, covering up the darkness between the grass and the rocks. Right? Where do you want it to be? We're gonna come put in a big old tree over here too. But toss these guys out there, drag them down, just let them get lower and lower and lower, and that'll be our land against our water, right? Now we're gonna have to go highlight that guy. So if you get a bit of your yellow ochre and a bit of your darker brown color and you mix them into a much lighter version of its own self, come over here, remember all the light is casting this way. So we can start lighting things up just by dragging over that very dark paint, right? It's going to pick up the light color where it wants to be, and then it's going to be shadowy and mixed in if we over mix it, right? So we get to decide what it looks like every time that we go to do it. And each time that we go to do it is another chance for us to do it a little differently, right? A little bit of rocky, whatever it is out there. Now, with the rest of this plaque mix that we have, we're gonna switch over to our Paint with Josh fan brush. And this is the brack, so there's a little bit of brown in there, and it's okay. That's okay. We're gonna come over here. We gotta be taller than our guy, because everything in this painting is very close up, right? There's nothing out here that's very far away in the distance. We're gonna hit it with just the corner. Try to stay out of your guys' way when we do these guys, right? Tapping it in. The more we go down, the more we're gonna push on. The more we push on, the more it's going to flatten out all of our little texturous areas. So if you can make a branch and keep it nice and textured all the way down with less taps, right, to smush your texture, then the more your tree is going to look real, and it's going to look closer because we can see all of this dark stuff and all the little paint bits that are kind of sticking off the canvas, and all the stuff is right there for us to see. That brings it close in our brains, okay? Now let's switch. We're going to go to a smaller fan brush, all right? And then we're going to go over here into our green. We don't need a whole lot of the white, right? We don't want it to be snowy bright white. So we're going to over mix it in with that sap green, just allowing the paint to get a little bit messier, a little bit wetter. We're going to tap on. Now remember, this guy doesn't need every highlight in the world, okay? I'm going to tap on a couple little places, a couple little spots. Doesn't have to be humongous. Don't have to see everything. Don't have to do anything that we don't want to do, okay? Filling up the back area just a little bit. A little bit, right? Little tree out there in the day. Very cool. You get a little spot that's a bit too big, you go back over and with your darkness, right? It's a bit too bright, whatever it is, you're deciding as you're doing your painting, what your painting is going to look like, all right? Come back in, add a few bits of brightness in between those bits of darkness, and all of a sudden you got a really cool looking tree, right? The more you go over it, the more bright it's going to be, in which case you're going to ruin the depth in there, so get some of the darkness back in there before going back out onto the edge with your brightness, right? Very cool. Okay, now let's take a bit of our brown color as well. Where's that? We'll take a little bit of yellow ochre, a little bit of our brown, mix them up down here. There, just like that. Fabulous. Come scrape in here, put a little bit of a little tree trunk. Boop, boop. Just an indication of some trunk kind of showing through our scene. Doesn't have to be too big, doesn't have to be too small either. It's up to you what you want it to look like, okay? Now we've got to wash off our 2-inch brush so we can pull down some water underneath this guy right here. And remember, you can go grab this one. It's there, along with all the other stuff. You know how to find it, and if not, the mods will tell you how to find it. Very simple, very easy. Okay, we finished washing off these other brushes real quick. You guys just check in, tell me where you're watching from out there. Just where you're from. Let me know. I don't know why. I just like knowing where you guys are from. I don't know what it is. It's cool to see how many people are watching from different areas of the world. When I'm just this little guy out here in Oregon, just chilling, we got all these people watching from around the world. It's just, it blows my mind, literally. Literally insanity. Over here. Okay, so you you guys check in. Then we're gonna start throwing in our water, man. We've done this in 30 minutes already, guys. Just a quick little scene. Now, normally we would do our our liquid white with our water underneath, or have some amount of undercolor. Remember, there's no undercolors down here at all yet. So we're gonna get a little bit of our white, just like that. A little bit of our blue, just like this. Bang, bang, boom, right? The more blue we get on there, the deeper it's gonna be, the more white that we have on there. So pretty much like our bright blue sky up here. Here's where we go. Come down in there. Because the undercolor is non-existent in this scene, whatever we have on our brush is exactly what it's going to show when we get up there. So we pull it down like this, right? Swipe it down just like we do with our beachy scenes and stuff. And then I'm gonna ask you, does this look like a river? Yes or no? Tell me now in the comments below. Does that look like river water to you? If not, what do you think it looks like while I dab my brush off on a paper towel over here? What you think it looks like out there? Man, this one looks freaking cool. Looks like an ice glacier. I feel that. A waterfall. Wicked awesome. Wicked awesome. What if we do this? What if we took all those horizontal streaks, right? And we pushed on them hard enough to turn them into, those vertical streaks. Turn them into horizontal streaks. Does that look more like your little rivery, watery area? River running through. Yeah, cool. Now, let's come in here, and we're gonna start from the back, because we have to have a couple rocks in this scene. I don't just want to have this pure river looking all nice and pretty and flat and non-disturbed. I don't like that, right? I want it to be crazy. So I'm gonna take a little of my titanium white, liquid white and titanium white. We're gonna get right up against the edge of our rocks, not having to hit every place. Right? Not every spot has to be covered up with some of that stuff. Just a little bit, okay? Now back here, these guys, they're smaller, right? More indistinct. Maybe we drop down a section, bang, just like that. Okay, make a big old giant mess of it. Okay, I'm telling you, because whatever you don't like, you can get back in here with your dark mix of our paint and say, you know what, I want a rock right there. Bang, pop in this little flat little guy. However we want him to look, literally. Right, wipe off our knife, scrape off just 1 millimeter of the bottom of the rock. Just one little teeny tiny little millimeter. Scrape it, right? That's gonna help us be able to grab it with our brush and extend down just the smallest amount of paint, right? And then swipe it over. This is why we're doing them one at a time, otherwise we would wipe away all of our little water lines. And then you come cut through this guy again, right down through there, or wherever. We're gonna put a big old tree right through this whole thing anyway, so it doesn't really matter what it looks like until you keep going, and you keep going, and you keep going, right? So now, let's just say, this little guy, who's out here, just a little thing, just kind of Z shapes and weird. That's all you gotta have them have, right? A little bit of odd weirdness, okay? And then we're gonna come in again with a bigger rock, right there. Take it out, right? Pop it down here, mush the paint on, come down 1 millimeter at the bottom and pull it, littlest bit. If you got a big old ridge down there, it's gonna grow real far, right? Come back up here, very lightly, very lightly. We don't need it to go anywhere. We just need it to look disturbed. Yeah, just a little bit out of the ordinary, right? Come back in here, scrape it in through right next to the rock and through your shadowy reflective area. Out there like that. Splits them up, right? Very neat, very neat. Again, drop down in that Z, and then drop down in that Z again, right? The whole thing. Anytime I'm doing them, it's just an exaggerated Z shape. Right, so came over there, came over here, knowing that we're gonna have all sorts of stuff right in here, so we don't need to do too much. Right, out there. Scrape it back. Where do you want it to be? Right, there we go. You have enough paint on your blade, it'll really play nice with all the rest of these little colors. You put too much out there, you're not gonna like it, right? So, put it out there, come over here, get our bright kind of color that we've got. Let's light up this little guy out here in the night. Don't have to cover every single portion of him, right? Just a little bit. Make it weird, make it odd, make it not all the same. That's looking pretty cool, guys. And then you can be the judge about how many little water lines or how many little bits of stuff that you want around your painting. Now, in order to make it look glossy, I'd come in here very lightly, Not trying to push the paint, just trying to go over it a little bit, right? Little touch here, there, everywhere. Very cool. Very cool, guys. Now, we've got to go back and mix up one more giant amount of darkness so we can put in a big old Paint with Josh tree over on this side. And I'm talking about an enormous tree. Maybe some branches, maybe some foliage, maybe all sorts of stuff out there in the night. But it's got to be our Paint with Josh plaque mix, just the original plaque, so it's very dark. Very, very dark. So it'll stand out in front of all those other colors, right? I'm gonna go back to our 1-inch brush, and then I'm gonna ask you just right here, just don't leave, okay? When you see me do this, don't go anywhere, because it's gonna be wild, okay? You're gonna look at me and be like, why on earth would you do that? But just wait, because as you can see, this painting's got a lot of depth. Let's come right from there, boom, straight down, straight up, all the way down through my river. Told you that little light spot was gonna be all covered up, right? Now, it requires a fair amount of paint to stay that dark and that opaque where it's blocking out everything else in the background. So, you gotta put it on there, turn the brush vertical when you're on the edge, give it a couple little humps and bumps, a little bit bigger as it comes down toward the bottom. We don't have to go all the way down, but we do wanna fill in that color there, right? Now, on the videos, it might look a little bit bright to you because all my light is catching the verticalities, but if we come over here like this, and you don't need to do this, this is just to show you how the light can change and how much darker that stick can look, right? Because it's supposed to be really dark. Ooh, it's really dark, right? Now, we're gonna take the last bit of our plaque mix, not as much as we can get of it, onto our clean bush brush, up there on the edge. Now we gotta project some distance back through here, okay? Popping it up, popping it around. There, gorgeous. Right? This whole thing living down here is the rivers floating by, and then we can decide, do we wanna have any reflections from this stuff coming through, or do you wanna turn it into land? You can have a little bit of land going this way, a little bit of land going that way, and then we'll be able to see it by the time we get done. Right? Now, let's draw some little branches onto our big old monster tree, and then it's going to be up to you whether or not you want to add foliage to these little branches, right? They can go wherever, they can be as big as you want them to be, they can be as dark, they can be as gnarly and as crazy as you want. It's all up to you guys, right? Came out there, launched him on him. He's got a big old branch that sticks out that side. There's one off at the other edge, we're coming back there. You never know until you put them out there. One more little dude up here, out there, holding up all this crazy stuff. It's about to be plopped onto this poor little tree. Okay, we're gonna crisscross, or again, Z pattern. So you have your next one over here, next one up there, wherever. They don't all have to be the same. You can always have a couple that kind of just literally project out and get broken off and never go anywhere. It makes them look cool, guys, I'm telling you. Now, we gotta go back to our plaque mix up one more giant amount of this plaque mixture. Same amount that we made for our bushes down here, because we're gonna have just about that much up there into the sky, onto our tree trunk and everywhere else. And then we're gonna make our actual trunk of our tree feel like real wood. So I hope you're in for the long haul, which will be about maybe 6 to 10 more minutes, and then we'll be done with this whole painting, okay? Now, I'm gonna take, again, some of that green, I'm gonna plop it in, so we'll make our grack mix now, and that's only for the foliage, because I want the foliage to stay a bit greener when we start to pop on the highlights. And if it has this darker green in it, it will stay greener. Now, oh, you, just right on there, right, wherever we want it to be. Bang, perfect. Little bunch of leaves and such, okay? Now on the top, we're gonna let it come out, and extending out towards the thing. We don't need to fill in every space or have every bit of the branches be, you know, completely covered. We don't even need to put anything over here. If anything, what if we just popped in just like a little guy right out there, right? Not trying to take over too much. A little bit of branches, some stuff. Maybe it's an eagle's nest, who knows? Who knows what it is? Let's go wash it off, and then we'll be ready to highlight that same bunch of stuff, all this stuff right here. We're gonna highlight in one go. So you let me know where you're watching from out there. And if you wanna grab this one, it's right there waiting for you. You just gotta get out there and make it happen, man. Look at this one, dude. Oh, that's cool. Oh, this whole big thing's gonna be so full of highlights and trunky, just gorgeousness, right? So again, liquid white over into our sap green, now into my yellow ochre. I want it to be like a softer bit of something. All of our lights hitting it from this side, guys, so we gotta start over here and start thinking about how you want your bushes to look, right? Maybe have another one over there. Pop this guy over there, right? They all can't be so bright going back here, so I'm tapping it less and less and less, hoping that it gets darker and darker and darker because we're catching all of our light up here in the front, right? Now, we'll go back. A little bit of that green, a little bit of our yellow ochre, up into the tops. Right? Less and less and less. More over here, less on the side. I'm telling you, you don't want to go crazy. Now I'm gonna get a little bit of my yellow, my cadmium yellow into the mix, so it's a little bit brighter in its color. Catching maybe a little bit more light. Go back to that green. All right, come way out here. We don't need very many highlights along the top back anyway. But isn't that cool? That is cool, guys. Now let's wash this brush off. Then we'll toss in all of our trunky details. And you guys got to start coming up with a title for this painting, right? What are we going to call this one? Like, what should it be named? I think I called the other one like Rugged River Valley or something like that. Like, you got to decide though what it's going to be, and then you're going to tell me what your favorite title is. And like I said, if you purchase this one, you get to come back and tell us what the title is going to be forever, because it becomes your painting. You get to title it, right? So, an incentive of getting it during the live show is being able to name it yourself. And we're going to come back, we're going to put on all of our trunky texture down by the river. I don't know if that's how you meant it, but that's how I read it. Now, we're going to wash off the rest of our brushes. You guys keep coming up with titles over there. Let me know what we're going to call this one. What should we name it? This is my last show of the week, you guys. It's my Friday, remember. And we have this one for its price on the site, and then that one for probably 80 less, right? So you want to save about 100, go over and just scroll down to the second painting that's there. You can grab that guy. And he's just as gorgeous. Okay, over here. Now, I like it. I'm gonna come up here though, and I'm gonna just sneak from different areas, and that way it looks like it's pulling. You say come up, and then you go out, and you come up, and you go out again. Just makes it look a little bit more 3D in there. And then we'll get down in here with our two dark brown colors again. That's why I was saving the last of that brown. Over there. And then I can add our dark base for our land, right? Just allow it to just plop on. You can just smush it on there, seriously. Doesn't even matter. We're not trying to get it to break with this one. We just want to have some amount of that darker paint out there along the bottom. Then we're going to come back in here with our yellow ochre, mix it up with that brown color, right? There, so a little bit brighter on our other side. That's all we're really looking for. Okay, so we came up here, we can even pop it into that bush, just pull it down this way, allowing that color to kind of wrap around. So you got your light side into your shadow side. Very easy, guys. Very simple and easy. Now let's pop our trunk in here. So we're gonna go back to our two dark browns. And our two dark brown colors. Let's mix them up down here. There. All right, need a fair amount of paint, remember, because it takes a lot. You have to scoop up a whole big chunk, work from your right edge to about 60% across to the middle. You don't want to go all the way side to side, right, on our tree anyway. We just want to do the middle and back to the shadow side. So whatever side your shadow's on, if you swapped it up on me and all your light's coming from this side, then put your shadows on the back side, okay? Over here, over there, just a little bit. We're just tapping on and removing it, leaving a giant ridge or splotch of paint, and then we're just tapping into that, creating that texturous, barky feel, okay? Then we're gonna come up here, in our last little bit, again, from the edge, the right edge, to about 60% across to the center, okay? Get all the darkness off your brush. Grab lots of yellow ochre. Okay, and that way, when that yellow ochre blends in with those two brown colors, right? In a 70 to 30 mix usually. Then we can come out here and we can start tapping onto this guy. Now initially where you tap, it's gonna leave a giant amount. So you can kind of tap it back. Tap onto the front and tap it back a little bit. Whatever goes back is what's gonna go back. If you think you got too much, scrape it, right? Deposit that stuff back here. Whatever. Leave a little gap in between. People love the gaps, guys, right? Not the clothing place, but the gap in between our trees is where you're gonna have those little ridges and little differences in the bark and all those things out there. We're just not trying to cover it up all the way. If we cover it up all the way, then all of our depth goes all away. Again, we work it to about 60% back, just tapping it, tapping it, tapping it. So you've got that shadow side, you got your brighter side out here, and it's just fantastic, you guys. Woo, baby. I like it, I like it. A lot of times we're just tapping, just literally tap it in there, tap it in, happy. Isn't that a cool looking tree? I would agree with you, that is a cool looking tree. So let's get back here. You guys come up with the title. I'm going to sign the painting, and then we'll be all set. 45 minutes, how you like that? 45 old minutes on a big old 20 by 24 inch canvas and just go caw with the bird fam in the night. Excellent. Oh, guys, that's a really depth-filled painting if you ask me. Just if you're looking for my opinion, I would say that thing is full, just full. And I can't wait to see your guys' versions. Can't wait to see your guys' versions of this painting. Here we go. And you guys know where to send them. If not, you got to send them in to my Facebook, which is Official Paint with Josh. If you just search at Official Paint with Josh, you'll find me over there. And we've got about 440-something thousand followers over there now. Crazy. So you'll know you're looking at the right one. It's the one with the blue check mark, guys. The blue check mark, okay? Gorgeous. Now, also, if you're interested in Paint with Josh brushes, we're going to be doing the final push for the last of the Paint with Josh brushes that were ever made in that set, right? So, if you are needing new Paint with Josh brushes, Thursday is going to be the day where we're going to do the live. I'm going to go live on the FB and the YT and the TikTok, and we're going to be doing a simulcast live to kind of showcase how the Paint with Josh brushes work. We're going to do an entire painting with just Paint with Josh brushes again and show you that you can absolutely use them for every part of the painting, even though I tend to use them for certain parts of paintings now, right? So if you're interested, it's going to be 20% off too. That's going to be the best part about them. The whole thing, you can be getting them for cheap. I love it. River's Edge, I love that for a title. What time? It's going to be 5 o'clock on Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Left for 20 minutes and wow, yeah, no, you can't leave. You can't go anywhere on a Paint with Josh show because of all the craziness that can happen in there. I love those rocks. I love the rocks on the side. I love the rocks on the freaking in the water themselves. It's really cool. Really, really cool, guys. Tranquil terrain. What does that say? The other side of the mountain. I like that. I like that for a channel, guys. Freaking cool. There we go. A couple of crazy bits just extend off onto that guy. Make it a little bit cooler. Okay, I'm gonna finish washing off this last big brush. Remember, you guys can grab that painting right there if you go to my place, which is Paint with Josh. All you gotta do is head over there, right, find it, and then put it in the cart, come back, tell us what to name it. Otherwise, I'm about to choose, and you're about to lose out on the best part about getting it during the live show, which is choosing the title, don't you think? So let me finish washing this guy off. You've got about a minute left if you wanted to grab this painting. Otherwise, I might just take it out of the store, unfortunately, because it is so pretty. I might want to keep it at home for myself. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep this guy. I'm going to keep it. I like it. I like it that much. So I'm going to keep it for myself. So let me finish wiping this guy off. You guys help me title it. And remember, it's your last chance to get it if you want it. Steal it away from me. Very cute. Remember, we also have our palettes, along with all sorts of other merch. You can get the Paint with Josh palette. The black ones say In the Night. The clear ones just say Paint with Josh on them. Very cool, guys. Oh, I love it. Okay, so this one's Serenity by Dusk. I like the River's Edge too. Let's go with the River's Edge. I like that. Very to the point. Like, what is it? The River's Edge. Cool. I love how everything is very close in this scene. We got a big, giant mountain, you know what I mean? Very close up. The trees are close, the bushes are close, the rocks are close. Everything is close. It's just close around here. So, it makes everything very big, right? And that's a thing that a lot of the beginners struggle with, is making things big enough. So I wanted to do this painting today to show you just how big, just how much paint we're using, how big you have to make everything to help push it into the distance. How big was our tree? It's like 3 fingers big over there, right? It's humongous. So, just another lesson in how to, is it 58, guys? Why do I always forget? Literally always forget. Is it 58? I know Cosmic's been pinning it the entire time, literally. 50, okay, cool. Thank you. Just gotta go look for Cosmic's pins. There we go, number 2058 on my career. Insane. What are we calling it again? The River's Edge. The River's Edge. Perfect. Like it. Amazing. You guys are awesome. Painted on 9/15/2015. We're all going to go to paintwithjosh.com because it's the best place on the interweb. Don't watch me write. I have terrible penmanship. Terrible, terrible penmanship. So don't watch that part. But beyond that, you guys have been amazing. I love you. I can't wait to see all your versions. So send them in to me over on the book. And that's at official Paint with Josh. My Instagram is at Paint with Josh K. Same as it is over here on TikTok. And if you want to find me on YouTube, just type in at Paint with Josh. Beyond that, you guys have been amazing. I can't wait to see your versions of this painting. And until I see you guys again next time, take care. Have the rest of a good day. And blah, blah. Bye, you guys. Ooh, that was a good one. I like it, guys.